Hi,
Yes,
guys.
yes, queen.
You guys might hear a rooster in the background every now and then because even though we live in a heavily populated suburban
Bye.
area, somebody thinks it's a fun idea to keep tons of roosters in their backyard, like a block over. So,
Oh, that's a good idea, said no one ever.
yeah, that's what the
Right.
actual.
I don't know, I can't see who's here or anything. If I turn my iPad on the side, I can, but that means I'm all
There's
fucked up.
literally no one here.
Yay! That's
I
even better then. So we're doing it
I
live
love.
on our own. Hang on. Oh, let me get you.
Yes, that's better. So I just posted to my thingy like people need to go watch, but obviously
Wait a minute. Let me just turn this the other way around
oh,
again.
there's some people here now. Yay. So that's cool. Hi y'all. Ingrid is here. I
I
don't know
can't do this.
I don't know some of these people's names, but
Where's the comments?
on your iPad there's no comments.
Hi, Sandra. Hi, Bookish and Witchy. Hi, Erin. And
Aaron,
Ingrid. Oh, this. I hate this. So can I? Can you not change it?
we can see you just fine. So
Oh, it's so annoying like this. Okay, you can do the comments, and I'm going to tip my iPad up the right way around there. Yeah. I should be
ooh, we
on
can
TV.
see Martin's undies. Ooh, Martin, show us your pretty panties again.
Later.
Logan is here as well.
Hi, Logan. Logan's already seen my pretty panties today.
Oh, has he? Before we
Right then.
get started on the shit show, I have something to show you. Well, I already kind of did, but I want to show you once more because it's fabulous.
Go on then.
Because last week we were talking about the casting with
Oh
Maeve,
yeah. Talking of which, I'll grab this while we're here.
and I also said that I had found this really cool hieroglyphics casting system.
What the
Turns
fuck do
out,
I look about 3 foot tall?
because you are, like, guys, you probably don't know this, but Martin is tiny. He is what we in the gay world call a pocket gay. A poly, you could fit into this Polly
I
Pocket
can see you
container right
there.
here.
Oh yeah, it's right, isn't
Like that's what I do whenever I miss Martin. I take out my Polly Pocket and I go.
it? Somebody said to me when they met me in London, God, I didn't you realise you was this small?
Yeah,
I
that
go,
was B. That was B.
yeah, probably. Right, so Levi's bought me a present as well. And I'm gonna have a go at this. It's I said to Paul last night, and I says, Levi's bought me this poxy resin, and he says, I says epoxy, and he thought says poxy, you know what poxy means here? It's a slang term for shit. And he
Yeah,
says, what's poxy about the present? And I says, it's not poxy. I says, it's fucking epoxy resin.
epoxy resin.
So
Yeah.
Levi's bought me that so I can make my own shit for my own photos. So what
Yes,
I'm going to do, I'm going to make a business out of this and start charging £50 per jewel, right? Like everybody.
because they're specially channeled from
They are. They're
whatever
channeled from
fucking.
Archangel Metatron, right? So I'm going to have a go at that later. Look at that. I mean, come on. Buy me shit like this, it's just the best
It's
ever.
fun. It's fun. It's a lot of fun.
Did you get one?
No,
I'll probably get the resin all over me, but there you go. I can make a pendant. So you see that on my Instagram tomorrow, and I'll charge you £30 for the
well,
privilege.
I thought it was nice since you because Martin also sent me some shit for my birthday, and I thought maybe it could also be some cute shit that you attach to your dollies and stuff, you know?
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's one of my first ones, so you'll have to you'll have to forgive the beginners.
Oh, I
That's
actually love it. But
I've
like
ordered a bit since then.
this is a
Oh,
more advanced one.
bright one that is. I've done this one today for my friend who's sick. She has got to be sent off tomorrow, so there you
Yeah.
go, guys. Yeah. So and my own one here, look, it's got no face. She's faceless. This is mine with the bones and the deer rib, deer.
I like faceless too, like honestly.
She has got a face. It's drying. I ripped her old face off. So
Oh yeah, you could do stuff like that, of course.
yeah, ripped her face off as you do. Like I've always been into ripping people's faces off. No, not really.
That's very on brand for you.
It is right. Okay.
Anyways,
So thank you everybody for joining. What's the? Oh yeah, they're lovely. They are.
the casting. So these are all like sort of Egyptian glyphs, hieroglyphs.
So how
So
many
you
is there in total?
25, and they're pretty heavy, and they're in this bag, and you can just cast these onto your casting mat. And then it comes with this really great guidebook. I got the Dutch version off of the Dutch marketplace for very little. But this is out of print in the United States and everywhere, by the way. And I saw like English versions going for hundreds, but I was like, you know what? I'm Dutch. I can read Dutch. So I got this book. So you basically, let's say you got this one, right? So you have a quick reference guide in the back. So I would just
Right. Yeah.
quickly look that up. So this is Geb. So I need to go to that page, and then it has this whole story about Geb, god of the earth. And then there's this whole story, and then there's an upright, a reverse meaning, a significator meaning, a meditation that you can do, and an affirmation. So there's
That's all
lots
right.
of information. Yeah, it's pretty cool
I wonder why
actually.
this good shit, this good stuff, like really goes out to print and never comes back in print again.
Yeah, and that's kind of a nice bridge to what we were talking about like earlier.
It
And
is, yeah. Because
yeah,
I mean, we've come on tonight to discuss, like, the older type of tarot decks, not the ones that that you can't get. We were on about the mass market ones that was possibly by US Games back in the day, and maybe very early Llewellyn. And we were saying, we were both talking, and obviously, like, I've been around a lot longer than Levi, so
yeah.
I've seen some of the older decks, and then I've still got some of my old decks, and I noticed how much the artwork differs to the throwaway stuff that's available now.
Well, Martin and I were talking, and especially in regards to the mother piece, like a deck like that just would not get published today at all. Same with the Star That Never Walks Around or the Daughters of the Moon. Those decks wouldn't even be like if the author and artist would hand in their manuscript, it wouldn't even be looked at. When these are in
Well,
fact
no,
classics.
they are. I mean, pre-internet as well. I mean, the work that went into the decks, like the Morgan Greer, the Mother Piece, the Medicine Woman. It was all done by obviously postal services.
Yeah.
So that obviously took time as well. And the artwork is just so different from anything that you see now. I mean, I'm just going to give an example here. I mean, just me to pick the first card, which is the most revolting baby on a Sun card I've ever seen. Right, okay. But like, I mean, this is all done by like pencils and
What
things.
deck is this, Martin?
This is the Robin Wood.
Yeah.
And this is my original copy of the Robin Hood, and this was from like back in the day, in the 90s, where there was no internet, and the amount of work that must have gone into these cards back then, and not just the artwork, the amount of work on the whole, by obviously Robin Wood having to submit a work to Llewellyn, because this was published by Llewellyn back in the day when Llewellyn cardstock was absolutely perfect in these little boxes. And now you just click a button, blah blah blah. You can upload decks to make playing cards. You can kind of submit decks like everywhere, anywhere, wherever you feel like.
Which is not necessarily a bad thing,
No,
Martin.
it's not. It's good because things have progressed, and obviously, you can kind of keep up with things better now.
Yeah.
But what the point is, I find that the older decks seem to, and I don't mean this disrespectful towards anyone. If there's any creators here, I can't see anyway. I find that the older decks seem to have a little bit more integrity about them.
Well, and we were also talking about, like, for example, this deck or the Commonly Tarot, which you will obviously show in a bit, but also the Mother Piece. Well, not the mother piece per se, but there was a lot of Rider Waite cloning happening at that time. But you guys got to realize that for way back when, that was actually kind of special because for the longest time, there only was the Rider Waite Smith. So this
That's
was
right. Yeah, you didn't
something
see.
really
Yeah.
innovative, something fresh, something new.
The only Rider Waite clones that was about when I was growing up was the Aquarian and the Morgan Greer. There was
Yeah.
nothing else like it.
No.
And then obviously there was another couple like the Robin Wood that was given like a pagan slant on things. And it was nice then because like it kind of like, oh yeah, I do like the Rider Waite Smith, but I am pagan, so I'll use that.
Yeah.
But it wasn't so oversaturated as it is now. Um,
It is getting a bit insane now. And also, whereas this was the innovation back then, a couple of years later, you would find decks like one I have in my hands right now that is still in print that you can still get. I was playing with it, so the box is open, but you would get like super innovative stuff like the Tarot of the Spirit, which was a little bit more Thoth leaning, but also very original in the usage of the keywords on the cards. They are not Thoth card titles. They are completely original titles on here. So that kind of, that kind of propelled the whole tarot world into, the Mother piece came out, the Daughters of the Moon came out, all very different decks that had like a really different vibe and a different approach. The Elemental Tarot by which is also back in print by
yeah, that was
John,
80s, wasn't it?
yeah,
Yeah.
by John Astrop and Caroline Smith, the
Yeah.
Barbara Walker Tarot, So that was, a huge step forward where all these like really innovative zany decks started coming out. And then, the 90s was a bit of a slump, I feel sometimes.
It
A
was
little
more
bit.
for me. I remember a few standalone decks in the 90s. We had the Zerna Faber and we had the Tapestry Tarot. A few others, that Karma Tarot, which I was never very keen on. That was based on that commune thing in Copenhagen.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was one of my favourites. But like it was like the late 90s when it all kind of blew up, and Llewellyn started bringing out the witchcraft books. After, incidentally, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and that's when the kind of teen witch market blew up a little bit. And then you had all this succession of dreadful fucking tarot decks coming out as well.
One of the worst decks I've ever seen, sort of like with that like 2000s 90s vibe, is the Hip Chick Tarot.
That's awful. Absolutely awful. And there was another one called the Teen Witch Tarot, which is equally as awful.
Yeah.
It's got like young girls flying around on broomsticks. It's shit. I think it's been repackaged, rebranded into another name now.
Mm.
That was a Llewellyn Publishing. And it was, you could tell who it was geared to. It was geared towards the teenage market in the early
Yeah.
2000s.
And I remember, shows like Buffy and Charmed kind of did sort of reignite that whole like witchiness spark in the world. Maeve just asked, how old are you? If you don't mind, did you start reading in the 90s? I started reading in like 2006, I think, but I wasn't good. But I did start like studying tarot back then with a fucking Marseille deck. But yeah. I'm 35, by the way. So, but the thing was, even with that era, it still wasn't, the internet was there, but for example, online shopping wasn't that big over here in the Netherlands in the early 2000s.
Neither was here because I used to be on the old eclectic forum.
Yeah.
And like people, you used to see loads of decks like advertised on their pictures of them, and then people from the States who I knew at the time used to be able to grab whatever and send it over, and it used to take like 6 to 8 weeks to arrive because even shipping was, mind you, it's shit now. But even shipping was like really bad then.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Bad and like super duper expensive as well.
Really expensive, really slow. But like, I mean, I did get my hands on like my Robin Wood. I think I can't remember where I had that from. And somebody sent me as a gift my Medicine Woman Tarot, because I'd never seen it here anywhere in the UK.
Isn't that a '90s one as well? I'm
Yeah,
not.
yeah, so
Yeah, it
the one
is.
very early or
But
late
then,
80s.
the '90s or like late '80s. It's really funny. I have that Art Nouveau tarot by Matt Myers, the camp one.
Yeah,
And even he, in an interview with Vix on Vix's blog, you can still find it if you're interested. It's a fun read. Even he said that he started working on it early '80s, and by the late '80s, early '90s, interest in tarot had kind of waned, so he wasn't
yeah,
allowed to publish it with a big guidebook.
yeah, yeah. That's it, isn't it? And I think, I mean, I'll always say this. I mean, when I first started Instagram, probably like 8 years ago, yeah, of course, there was always been tarot readers, and it was wonderful to connect with so many different people, and it still is. There was a few indie decks around at the time, not very many.
No.
And now it's kind of like, you know, I think mainly it started to blow up again during the pandemic. And I'll
A
always
little
say,
bit.
because if you notice, there was more Kickstarters, there was more people doing decks because they was at home more so they could. And as me and you have pointed out as well, the people who knew absolutely nothing about tarot,
Yeah.
because they could draw a little bit. Oh, I know, I'm going to do a deck and make money out of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it did. There was sometimes this atmosphere of, and once again, people can do whatever the fuck they want.
Yeah.
But I will always respect a deck 10,000 times. Hey, my screen just went black. I will always respect a deck 10,000 times more if it was created by someone who knows their shit.
Yeah, yeah, I'm yeah. Most
Rather
definitely.
than, you can have a deck that has the most gorgeous art ever in it, which is already super like subjective, but whatever, super sleek, good looking art. But I have found personally, if it was created by someone who doesn't know anything about the tarot and it's just about the witchy aesthetic to kind of make money off of it, that deck starts feeling hollow as fuck after a couple of uses and you never touch it again.
I've done that so many times, and you know what? Like when you actually don't know who's created the deck at the time, because like it wasn't so obvious at the time back then. And you use the deck and you think, oh, there's something a little off about this. I can't like kind of vibe with it and stuff. And then when you find out about the creator, or they know nothing about tarot, as you say, it's gone back on the shelf. Because I'm thinking, well, yeah, how am I supposed to invest in your work if you're not being true and just making money out of something you can basically make money out of?
Yeah, and even and back then it wasn't that clear, but nowadays there are, and I'm dying to call out like literal people, but I'm not gonna. But actually, I am gonna because have you ever heard of Yana Saint? I'm not calling her out, but have you ever heard of Yana Saint Levy,
I haven't.
the creator of the Aquarius Tarot
No.
and the Saltwater Spirit Oracle?
The saltwater spirit oracle I have, yes, so I do know who you mean.
You mean she kind of does this photo collage Daniel Noel esque style of deck, which
Yeah,
a lot of people do, so there's no fault in that. And she's a very friendly person. I've never really engaged with her, but she engages a lot with people that use her decks, and she's really cool and friendly. And she works hard on her art. Photo collage isn't even if it's analog, digital, doesn't matter. Isn't easy to make it look good. Believe
yeah.
me, because I have done a couple of photo collage decks now, and it's actually quite difficult to get it to look really cool. And she, there is this deck creating company, and I think their deck is called the Luna Soleil Tarot. Yes, it's I wonder they're called Terra Soleil, and I'm gonna put this company on blast. I'm even gonna share the screen because I've always found their decks extremely vapid. Yet the TikTok girlies like to say that it's their soul deck and that it's everything and that it's amazing.
Yeah,
Um, I beg to disagree. And you want to know what they did? So this is the company. We're putting them on blast. The
yeah.
Terra Soleil. This is the Luna Soleil deck. First of all, how is this 10 of Wands? There's no guidebook with this deck, by the way. What the fuck does this mean?
Well, it doesn't mean anything to me.
How is this King of Pentacles? Obviously, the sun is easy because you just have to draw a sun.
Yeah.
How is this Eight of Pentacles? How is this Two of Pentacles? How is this the World? So it's just vapid as fuck, trendy images. I've tried creating a deck like that, and I was like, I'm never gonna publish this. I had the deck is ready to go. I'm never gonna do anything with it. So let's see if I can find their decks. So tarot decks. They released a tarot deck that actually literally is it still on here?
Modern Aphrodite.
No, that's not it. I think they took it down because they literally stole a piece of artwork from Yana St. Levy's Saltwater Spirit Oracle and put it in a tarot deck of their own.
Fucking hell.
And this is, you know, they are the probably the top tarot creator out there right now because all of the TikTok girlies are going wild for the crescent moon on a black background, which, you know, I'm kind of one of those girlies as well. Sometimes I love that aesthetic, you know, and Martin always rolls his eyes when I have another deck that's kind of like that and, you know, whatever. But I do love that shit, and Martin knows I do. But with that company from the beginning, I've always had this feeling like this is completely vapid, it lacks meaning. And now they've kind of been caught because they're literally screenshotting photo collage art of an actual like legit creator's page and putting it in a fucking deck. Like, you can't do shit like that.
No, you can't. It's
And that
bullshit,
that
innit?
and that vapid part of the creator community that gets so much money, honestly, I fucking hate them and I want them to be ended. And it just
Yeah.
doesn't happen. The mindless witch stock
Well,
girlies.
Levi, look at what happened with me last year with that creator who sent me that deck for a review, and I give
Yeah,
it so much fucking time and put all my energy in it, and she didn't tell me she bought a fucking clip art pack from off Etsy,
yeah,
until I caught her out because somebody else was selling the fucking deck on Amazon,
yeah.
and that's one of them vapid decks as well.
Exactly. And you know, and there are a lot of creators in this style that I know, Martin, you don't really like, but I really
Yeah.
do like, that do have good intentions, that know what they're drawing, know what they're doing. The symbolism will be there in, you know, interesting ways, but within that like spectrum of tarot, there's so much vapidness, decks being pumped out after the other. And
Well, I was actually looking. I mean, I've got a couple of things that are being backed on Kickstarter right now. One of them's Lelania's because she's a friend of mine. Another one's Maeve's, and I was looking through and I thought, you know what, this is the same old. There's nothing new. There's nothing fresh. There's nothing you can't possibly do anymore because it's all been done to death.
well, you know, but that's not true. You know, like back in the 80s and 90s and 70s, you know, they were like, for example, this I know this doesn't look like the cool witchy aesthetic that everyone seems to love right now, but this deck is so different. It's so fucking cool. The
Yeah.
concepts that were chosen for the cards are so innovative, add so much layers to readings. You know, and this art may not be your style, but it is something that's completely different to everything else that's out there. And I always wonder why, if you're going to make the effort to do 78 artworks, why not try to put your own spin on the meanings? I don't get it.
I don't get it either. And that Tarot of the Spirit, it was all painted by hand, by
Mother
Joyce and
daughter
Clark.
mother daughter
Yeah.
duo, insanely wicked work. Like,
And the guidebook, the companion book to it is absolutely phenomenal. Everything,
it's
it's like a
amazing.
work, it's like a piece of artwork in itself.
It's such a special deck. Like
Yeah,
the
it is.
mother.
Really, I agree. It's one of my favourites. And this one, I mean, this one was from the 80s, and this is the Cosmic Tarot Hermit.
Yes.
Um, I've never seen a deck like this since. It's one of my all-time favourites, and it always will be. And I'm thinking there's been nothing like that since. Yeah, of course, I love Danny. I do. I'm really good friends with Danielle Noel, and I love Danny's decks, and I love other people's decks who I'm friends with as well. But
Well,
once
you mentioned her name, but her Star Child Hero actually is really different in the sense that it's
it's not a
not a,
right away. No, it's
it's
not a
not a
right
Rider
away.
Waite clone at all.
Not at
It's
all. No.
very it's actually very, very, very it's very much her own spin on the card meanings,
It is,
definitely.
yeah, because you use that deck, don't you, for client
I
reading?
use it. It's that deck I use exclusively for client readings.
Yeah,
Is basically one of my favorite decks now. When if you had said that to me 5 years ago, I would have laughed you in the face.
yeah. I know.
But I love that deck because it's not so basic, Becky. And there's nothing wrong with a Rider Waite Smith clone. It's just that sometimes it's so on the nose where I'm like,
There's a
you two.
company, there's a company, I don't know what them called. I do see it on people's channels on here, and they do all these cute. It's the smaller decks, and they put all cute kind of figures on. It's basically a Rider Waite clone with cuteness. Big eyes and stuff like that. And I'm thinking, why am I doing that? Because it's shit. It's awful. I,
And once again, you're gonna do this. You're gonna devote so much time to this project. No matter what kind of art medium you use, it's gonna take a long time.
mm,
Why not make it interesting and special? I don't get why you wouldn't do that. I can't wrap my head around that.
Neither can I. It's just I don't know whether it's because maybe it's quickness. Maybe they haven't got to work as hard as we think they have, because the work's already done. All I've got to do is change the faces, the position. I don't know. I've often wondered that myself. I'm thinking, well, why have you done another Rider Waite clone? Because that doesn't actually speak to me as you being an artist at all.
Like, for example, this is another one where I'm like, this is so special.
That is so different. That
You
again,
know,
it's been looking out like that out since.
and once again, this art may not be your style, and maybe that basic Rider Waite clone with the crappy chibi cutesy artwork is, but whatever. Like, this is really interesting. Once again, tying the progression of the suits to elemental occurrences in the suit. So, for example, the 7 of water is the ocean. So the 8 of water could be the 6 of water could be the wave, something like that. Obviously, this is not in order right now. The 1 of air is breath.
I
So
know
you
it's
could use that.
brilliant.
You could use that in your readings for the 2 of air is zephyr. So you could use that as a great analogy during your reading, and it's so innovative.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's different. It's unique. And this and another thing, I will show something that I didn't like. And I was on the fence for it for 2 years, and then Levi says, "You know what? You'll like that deck if you go get it." And I got it, and I absolutely love it because I have got the guidebook to it now, and I didn't think it made any sense at all. This is one of the best modern decks ever.
Yes. Yes.
Um, it is because Dan
Yeah.
has his own spin on the cards.
Yeah.
Like the bottle for the Ace of Wands, and it looks like an Oracle deck, but it's not an Oracle deck. It is very much a fully fledged tarot deck.
Yeah.
Um,
Everything gets explained in the guidebook.
it does, yeah. You do need the guidebook to kind of like get a basics of what Dan's talking about and why you use certain symbols. But this, for me, this is brilliant because the 4 of Wands, the amber, you wouldn't think, well, what has that got to do with the 4 of Wands? But like when you read the guidebook, you know exactly what it's got to do with it. And
Yeah,
this is
but
what I'm
even
saying.
and for some reason I don't really use the guidebook, but for some reason, and this is very personal and particular, but the symbols that he has chosen resonate extremely well with the way I read, which is more
Yeah,
numerologically.
yeah.
So,
It's brilliant. It's an absolutely brilliant piece of work. I'm so glad I got it, and it'll be one that I shall keep
and
always.
it's cheap as hell.
It's £30 that, guys, from Beth over at Little Red Tarot.
It's so affordable, guys.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
yeah, there's a lot of like and it was created with such like mindful intention, and you can literally feel it. You can
yeah.
literally feel it.
Created that deck when it was when his dad died from cancer.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
like a mourning process thing for him.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it really works. And this is, you can obviously be as modern as you want to be, like, but like, I mean, you know, do include something in it that either resembles tarot or you know what you're talking about, because we can spot it a mile off, and if we can spot it a mile off, everybody else can as well.
Well, you'd think that, but sometimes I feel like we are a little bit like hypersensitive
Maybe, I don't know.
to it.
There's one deck I absolutely can't stand, and I know a lot of people like it. It's the OK Tarot. That just seems to me as vapid as fuck.
Yeah, I have to agree. I like it. I don't have it. I like it, but I once went on a because I thought he was a tarot guy, so I went on one of his live streams and I started asking questions, and he read my question aloud, and it wasn't a bitchy question. It was just like, "Oh wow, I love that you did this tarot deck. Can you tell me more about what inspired you?" Something like that. And he read my question and literally rolled his eyes, and I was like, "Okay, bye."
Oh, okay then. Yeah. Well, speaks volumes then, doesn't it? Really? And I never
Yeah.
knew that. Yeah. So like that's another one that never kind of got into my collection because I thought this looks vapid. It's pink. It's aesthetically lovely, but that's as far as it goes for me.
Yeah. Or with that cute tarot deck. She now also has the spoopy tarot deck, but before that there was the kawaii tarot deck or
That's
something like
just
that.
awful.
That didn't even have like correct suit numbers on the
No, it
cards.
didn't. No,
It
it
would
didn't.
show 8 pentacles, but the number 4 and shit like that, like
Yeah, and there was seven pentacles, and there was only six showing. It
stuff
was
like
just a
that.
bloody awful deck. And there is some really. I don't know how they pass the drawing board for what is it, drawing board floor, or wherever it is. Fuck knows. But yeah, and another one. It's an old one. It's a '90s deck. And nobody can moan about the lack of diversity in it because it is very diverse for its time. And this is the Ancestral Path Tarot.
Oh yeah.
And this is beautiful because each suit represents a different continent. Um, and this was all undrawn as well. And you've got like,
I love
I,
her. I love
and
her
me,
art. Oh,
ancient Egypt, Native American, you've got Europe, you've got Asia. It's just one of the most incredibly gorgeous, beautiful decks ever.
can you
Um,
believe that she never got published again after this deck?
did she not? She does everything self-published now, doesn't she?
Yeah, she has everything on Printer Studio or Make Playing Cards. But can you believe that US Games never said, "Oh, you created another one. Let's publish it."
I can't actually, no. I really
Because
can't.
she's so brilliant.
Gorgeous, absolutely
And
gorgeous.
she adds layers to her decks as well.
There's so many different things you can see when you look into these cards and like little works of art.
I have
Uh,
her Ma tarot, and every card is linked to a lunar phase in a specific time of the year. So that means you could use that deck for your regular readings, but you could also use it as sort of a timing deck.
Yeah, yeah. I just love her work, and she's lovely because I've seen her being interviewed on Cash's channel. Um, and this was 1995, and this is when people didn't really put like other kind of cultures in the work, did they?
No.
And this is really good, actually. I love it.
So this deck was published in 1987, and it's really special as well. I don't think it's very easy to get now, but I got it off Amazon, and it's the
Yeah, I got
Renaissance.
mine from Book Depository, actually.
And this is a really, it even has like gold foil on the cards, which is
Oh
interesting.
no, it's so brilliant.
And this is a super gay,
Homoerotic.
super homoerotic pip deck, and it's stunning and it's really special. And the pips are gorgeously aligned. And why am I getting all these swords cards here? Look at that 10 of wands.
It's gorgeous, and it really is.
It really, really, look at that sun.
It's beautiful, Levi.
Special, isn't it? Like,
Have you seen the Tarot of Shadow and Light by him?
no, I have not.
Light and Shadow. We've got loads of questions here. Why do
Yeah,
you think?
we do. I actually had a question like right at the beginning by Aspasia Rising that I never put up, but I'm gonna because Let's see. She asked Martin, "I love your dolls. I have a friend in Arizona who makes spirit dolls, and she sells them in a Native American museum."
Oh, that's fab.
Cool. And then also another question by them. Why do you think those decks would not be published today? Are you saying it's the artwork or the themes or both? I think it's the artwork.
I think it's the artwork as well. It's too raw.
Like US games especially, and also but also all the other companies honestly are so busy with which art girl or gay or guy or whatever is popular on Instagram right now.
Yeah,
And that's just those are the people that they hire to do the art for their decks. And then they add some half-baked guru who I don't know was a TV medium in the 90s to write the guidebook, and that's it. And I
yeah,
know I'm doing a lot of people a disservice right now, but I don't care. It is what it is.
yeah.
Sorry.
True, true story
You know,
though. No,
anything that's not like perfectly polished, digital or almost digital looking just doesn't get published now. Or it's either super highbrow fine art shit or like that super um glossy looking perfect looking digital work. That's the
yeah,
stuff that gets published. And then the artist also needs to have 100,000 followers or else they're not even going to pay you any mind.
yeah. It's all about social media and reach now, and this is where like real artists and real talented people, who I know, always get overlooked. Because they tend to use the same artists all the time. If you notice with Rockpool, with Llewellyn, US Games, they tend to use US Games not so bad. They will push themselves out the comfort zone a little bit, but Llewellyn,
Sometimes.
it's all very internal.
Yeah.
It's a fucking book. Guidebook's always written by Barbara Moore.
Or Lisa Robertson.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I actually had some arguments with some pretty influential tarot people in a Facebook group about this. And they were like, I have to be transparent because I am also getting published by Llewellyn. And I was like, yay, good for you. But also, this is only happening because you have a really big audience. And,
Yeah.
and you also have quality. So thank God for that. But I can tell you, and I'm not going to name those, but I can give you at least 10 names of fabulous tarot gays that had a really basic tarot meanings book published in the last 4 years.
Oh, just don't, because I could give the names out as well. And
Easy tarot, tarot made easy, even easier tarot. Hi, it's Pride Month. Buy me a faggot iced latte and a tarot deck tarot.
yeah,
All those
yeah,
books,
it's right, absolutely right. And there's somebody
and
now
that's
like
coming from a faggot who loves faggot iced
exactly. There's
lattes.
somebody now on Instagram that I've noticed, and I'm doing a deep dive into every card, and you're thinking, we don't need to hear your fucking view on deep dives. We know already what the card means, and this is
The
because
dive has been depth.
the dive has been depthed. Dear, yeah. Shut the fuck up and go and play with your markers.
Yeah.
It's yeah, yeah. I just can't, Levi. I can't honestly. I do.
No.
It's being in the right place at the right time. It's
I
not having the
literally
right connections.
I hate Llewellyn and everything they stand for nowadays.
Yeah,
It's the
mate.
most vapid tarot division
Yeah,
of any publishing house I've ever seen.
it
And
is.
that
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the people I know personally who've got turned away by Llewellyn, and you're thinking, what your artwork could knock everybody else's into fits, and
there's
I'm just
people
not
I
interested.
there's people I know that have had their books denied by Llewellyn only to have Llewellyn turn around and release a book with the exact same title no
Yeah, I
less
know.
than a year later.
I know, that's really bad. I remember
And
that.
we can still talk about how amazing that company is and how great it is, and it's not
Oh,
great.
you know what, to be honest with you, I'll be quite honest now, I've got no time for any of them, in all fairness.
I'm probably going to get that new deck by that lady who did the Hidden Realm.
Oh, yeah, yeah, the
The
Julia Jeffrey one.
witch sister or something like that. That
Yeah,
looks
yeah.
dope as hell. And I believe she did the guidebook herself, so that's going to be interesting.
Well, I love Tarot of the Hidden Realm anyway, so
Yeah,
so that's
but that's probably the newest Llewellyn deck I've got.
I ain't got one, have I? I have. I got that bloody that modern witch tarot in I. Not what's it called? That one with the flying hats on that Julie keeps making me
Julie
use.
loves Everyday
It,
Witch Tarot.
yeah, yeah, that one. Yeah, yeah.
Well, and it's cute. It's all these theme decks are cute, but nah. It's very mindless. Like that Tarot of Dragons. It's an RWS with like really good art. The art is amazing, but it's another one of the same. The Mermaid Tarot. It's another one of it's really good art. It looks really good, but they're all the same. They're literally all
Well,
the
you know
same.
what? You've just reminded me. I watched a walkthroughs. I don't know who it was who done one now. It might have been Tisha actually. It might have been. And I watched a walkthrough of that Tower of the Elves. Um, Absolutely fucking dreadful. I have never seen such an awful deck. Who, since when has an L been pink?
I mean, once again, I love the art in that deck in particular,
I
but it's
actually
it's
don't.
I know you don't, but it's obviously you can tell that it's not badly made, right?
Well, I'm just thinking, you get that deck, crack it open. You're thinking, where can you give a serious reading for somebody with that?
Well, I think we're splitting hairs now, Martin. But the thing is, yeah, I'm just not a fan.
No, no,
I'm not a
no.
fan of that deck. I'm not a fan of that deck's author. She also did that Witchling Academia tarot that I absolutely loathe and think is a
Yeah,
scheme.
yeah, that's another
I
one in it.
don't. I don't like. I don't know why, but I really don't like it.
Well, anyway, I was looking at the upcoming releases on Amazon. And there is a couple of okayish ones, coming out the end of the. It's always the end of the year because obviously Halloween's targeted,
Yeah.
of course. But there is some nice ones coming out. I haven't got them to hand and things like that. I ain't that advanced like Levi. But there is some nice ones coming out.
I'm kind of interested in that Blue Angel Izzy Ivy tarot deck.
I bought that Lemuria little pocket one from London, and I haven't even opened it.
But that's your problem.
But I do love it. It's just that I haven't opened it properly.
I'm interested in that because it's kind of also like Raven Phelan's Dreams of Gaia tarot, a tarot deck that has a new spin on it.
Well,
It
that's
really
what I like, and we want tarot decks with new spins on it. We don't want to be learning a new system,
no.
um, but we would like to see people stamp their own style on it.
Well, I'd rather learn a new system than sit through a walkthrough of yet another Rider Waite Smith, but make it owls. Rider Waite Smith, but make it foxes. Rider Waite Smith, but make it Winnie the Pooh because it's now in the public domain and it's free to use. Rider Waite Smith, let's
Yeah,
make it pheasants. Like what? I don't care
I
about
don't
that.
know. I'd say as my dear friend pointed out in his video this morning, and he told Goliath, by the way. So you can check out his video on here. He was talking about people just randomly putting pop culture, like Buffy the Vampire Slayer, as Levi's just said, Winnie the Pooh. We've got Mickey fucking Mouse. Putting pop culture in tarot decks and making archetypes out of that. And because it's a tried and tested formula, everybody loves Disney. Well, I don't. Everybody normally loves Disney. Most people are familiar with Buffy, so it's a no-brainer, isn't it? And I ain't gonna
Yeah,
mind for loving Disney.
would there be a fandom that if there were like a really good tarot released about it, you would buy it?
About what?
Well, is there like a movie franchise or something that would make you go, but I want that though, although I'm against this?
Hellraiser.
Same. I need a Hellraiser tarot deck,
Oh, a
honestly.
good horror deck with no zombies, no fucking Dracula, and
No,
no Frankenstein on there.
all the good movie franchises
We
represent.
want a serial killer tarot. We want something you can relate to, right?
Yes. No, but seriously, I agree. I would love to see either a full blown and not an inside editions one with like lazy fugly flat vector art and pips for lazy pips for cards. But I would like a full-fledged Hellraiser tarot that's not necessarily strictly RWS, but that has like a cool spin on it. We
And
need
I'm
a
sure,
we need a Hellraiser Thoth deck.
and I'm sure that with all the books that Clive Barker's had out over the years, somebody could come up with a kind of Hellraiser tarot, even though it was a short story. You know, it's Leviathan, for God's sake. Come on.
Yeah, like what the
Yeah,
fuck?
yeah.
And I and all or either, a really cool mishmash of all the slasher villains,
Well, if
monsters.
somebody's capable of putting together a fucking garbage pail tarot, anything's possible.
Yeah, you'd think that. You'd hope so. It's just, but yeah, the state of, and we've talked about this many times, but I feel like it's very easy for me to see that. Let me put it on the screen again so people know like the type of shit that I'm talking about, because
Hold
I
on a
need.
minute. Something's just come through my door, I think.
Martin always has shit coming through his door. I'll just
Oh no,
ramble on.
free newspaper. How disappointing's that?
But honestly, like, why do we have?
What's that modern Aphrodite?
It's all they're selling is knockoff. So this is a sort
So
of
that
a
looks like Danielle's
yeah.
artwork.
This is a Moonchild tarot knockoff. There's nothing original about it. It looks good. It looks good. It looks cute. You know, but
Well, how
there's
do
no.
they get away with it? How do they get away with what they're doing?
I don't know, but like all I know is that I'm sick and tired of seeing this piece of shit everywhere.
How can
Where
they even? It's just baffled me. How can anybody get the meaning of the tarot ones, tarot ten of ones from that? I mean,
it's the perfect deck for the intuitive readers that don't know shit, that can say shit like, "Ooh, the Hanged Man. There's a lot of cool opportunities coming up for you." Wink.
yeah.
And I'm sick of seeing shit like that when there's also stuff out there that's for example, this. If we're going to talk about really good mindful creations, how about this deck then?
Well, yeah. I mean, that was started in the 90s.
The Star Tarot by Kathy McLelland. Like,
Yeah.
what the actual fuck? This is an insanely
It's just
gorgeous.
perfect. It's my perfect deck.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah.
Same here. Do I
Mine's,
want to use it every day? No, but
but you know what? You haven't got, don't you? You haven't got this to match yours.
no, I don't. Get me it. Get it. Give it me.
Okay. And it's lined as well, bish.
It's probably really good quality, but I need, like it would be neat to see someone do more like that and less like, you know.
But I think it was different times back then as well. I mean, there was less, when people kind of wanted to find out about what Kathy found out about,
Yeah.
they had to really research it and fucking work their asses off for it.
This is another one that I love. Martin gifted me this. This is extremely difficult to get. How much did you pay for it again?
I paid brand new sealed from Glastonbury £4.
Yeah, someone obviously didn't know what they had, because this
No.
is really difficult to get. So Barbara M. DeLong, don't even know if she's still alive, but she poured her heart. They're stunning, and there's a really like cool system behind this deck. Apart from the zodiac cards, which obviously there are 12 zodiac signs. So if a zodiac card landed in the reading, you would read it as the energy that zodiac represents. So if you got Virgo, you could be like, okay, I need to get a little bit more structured and well organized. But then out of all the other groups, there's 11 cards. So it's 11, 11, 11, 11, and there's this whole story. And, once again, she all made this herself. And if you put that next to this piece of shit that I also own, the Circles of Healing, which is a really fun deck to use, but This is just Blue Angel buying some random mandalas off of some artist and, asking Alana, hey, yo, chick, channel some affirmations that we can print around the
Oh
sides.
no.
And then when this was nominated for an artist award, because the artist isn't credited as as a co-author, Alana Fairchild was nominated for this deck in the category Outstanding Art. And I was like,
Well, she didn't
what?
even do fucking art, did she?
No, she wrote like how many affirmations? I don't even know how many cards are in here, but she wrote a couple of affirmations and it's cute and I like it. But, this is very vapid when you compare it to this, which has like this whole system, blah, blah, blah. There's also a big guidebook for it that you can still get that I'm really curious about getting, but it's expensive. So,
Well, that deck, sometimes it comes up on eBay, and sometimes it comes up on eBay really expensive.
and
So
sometimes really cheap.
yeah, and the day I found that in the bookstore, I thought, fucking hell, I'm gonna have to get this and send it to Levi. But yeah, you don't come across bargains like that very often, especially for
No.
£4 anyway.
But you
Because I
also
thought it
don't.
actually said 40, Levi. I thought it said 40 on the ticket.
So you were like, what?
Yeah, yeah. And when I took it to the counter and I says, is this £4 or 40? And he says 4. Straight in my bag, love.
Yes. And it's really special. Like you can literally feel the intention in this.
Yeah,
Whereas
yeah.
even though this is a fine deck that functions, you can smell the vapidness of it, literally.
Or you can smell it a mile off.
Yeah, very much so.
He's just, hang on, let me just say, because like you're not reading out the comments, so I'm going to be nosing.
Oh yeah, let's be nosy. Well, there wasn't that much. Logan said something about Llewellyn, but I think we already covered that. Llewellyn doesn't like things that aren't beginner friendly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Imagine Chucky on the Sun card. Yes, that'd be awesome.
Yes, definitely, Mel. Yes, I can actually, yeah.
Yeah, but then I'd want it to be an original Sun card, not Chucky on a horse. Ah, this is funny and cutesy. No, make it really, really distinctive. Cool. Travis McHenry has that Madmen and Martyrs deck coming out mass market.
Oh, Lexi, I want that. I really do want that. And
Yeah.
one thing I will say about Travis as well is Bosch Tarot. Travis always puts his own spin on a system
Yeah.
as well. And that's
Yeah.
one thing I totally respect about him.
Same. Like you
Yeah.
can think of his decks what you will, at least it's properly researched and
It is. And I've said this before on my videos. When he's doing a deck, he will put his heart and soul in it. And to do that Oracle deck, that Egyptian one, he went to fucking Egypt.
yeah, he
Yeah,
literally went into the tombs.
yeah, he did. So, you can't say he's not authentic because he is very much so.
And we're not, by the way, not saying that there are no authentic modern decks. I mean,
No, we know there is some lovely ones that I've got. I've
but
got the
there
ones
is,
by
yeah,
Casey Zambala, the Wondrous Tarot. That's really gorgeous. I love it. And most of my decks behind me are modern, but I have got a few shitty ones in there.
yeah.
Nestled amongst the stuff.
And another one that I really, really, I honestly feel like there's a lot of intention in Daniel Noel's decks. I really do.
Well, I ain't gonna have nothing bad said about Danny, am I?
No.
She's a really good friend of mine. So,
But the thing with the old school decks is, like, for example, when I bought myself that copy of Daughters of the Moon after I'd sent it to you, I opened that deck up and I was like, oh yeah, this is
told you, didn't I?
this is really, really, really special.
Did you see Lizzie's video? Lizzie's got the old black and white version.
Not yet, but she did message me saying, hey, you need to watch my videos more. So Liz, I will do
Yes, you
that.
do, because Lizzie's videos are really interesting, and I
I
could
do.
listen to it talk for ages.
But you
And
know what
another thing,
I always do with her videos? So whenever I have a laundry day, usually it's a full day because I keep stacking up my laundry and I, don't fold it until I have to. And then I just put Liz's video on like in a playlist and I just listen to her all day long.
Talking of Liz, have you heard? Did you know Liz's daughter's a singer?
No, I didn't.
You want to listen to her music? It
Ooh, is it cool?
blew my fucking mind, right?
Cool.
I will send you a link later. And
Send
if
the link.
anybody think we're not having a private conversation, this is Liz from Westwater Healing.
Yeah.
Tarot. Liz, his daughter, is she's an incredible singer. She's got like singles and albums. She's on Spotify, I presume. She's on Apple. So yeah, I was blown away.
Do you know what her artist name is?
Yeah.
Let's just give her a little shout out.
Let's
Maybe.
give Liz's daughter a shout out. Right,
Yeah.
okay. I can't play anything because obviously Westwater. No, Naomi. Naomi Westwater.
So how do we spell Naomi? Like normal or
Naomi.
Naomi Westwater? I'm gonna put that on the screen so people can know how to find it. Cool. I will look for that.
And on Spotify, a bio says Naomi Westwater, they is a queer, black, multiracial singer, songwriter from Massachusetts. Their work combines music and music production with creative writing, visual art, intuition, and spirituality.
Cool. So she takes after their mom. Cool.
Yeah, she's lovely. Yeah.
Hey, there was another one recently released. I forget who did it. Arcane Warrior, well produced.
That's
Thank
a
you.
very nice one, Tony, actually. Yeah.
You know, and I know that my art isn't the most polished because I'm not necessarily the greatest artist ever, but there's a lot of content in that deck, if I
It's
may
the
say so.
content, it's the integrity behind it, and you know what the fuck you're doing. You know,
I'd like to think I do. You
well, you
know?
do. I mean, I don't say that shit like
You know,
leadership.
it's another one that I initially thought was a little bit vapid, but that had just completely stolen my heart. This one.
I love it. I love it. I love it so much.
You know, the graininess of the art, you know, you can see it was painted on canvases. It's just so stunning and it's so amazing and it's
It's pretty
everything.
in it. I love it. I just love her artwork.
Good usable keywords, interesting keywords. It's a really good mix of.
It reads like a dream.
It really does. I love it. I
Yeah,
love it.
nice one. That is one that's a good one, a current one at the moment.
Yeah. And
One of the good.
also for all the people that are kind of tired of tarot, big huge tip from me: switch to Oracle. It's
Do you
fun.
know I was talking about Oracle decks today with the Logan? And I says I've possibly got like my collection of Oracle decks is growing now more so than the tarot.
Yeah.
Because, it's limitless what you can do with an Oracle deck.
You know, it's so much more fun to create too, honestly.
Yeah. You're kind of limited with the tarot deck. You got 78 cards to draw,
Yeah.
or whatever. But with an Oracle deck, you can kind of put whatever theme you want on it. You can do a system or not, you can make it about something. It's just, yeah, I totally agree.
The tarot is still where the money's at. I don't know if you
yeah. Let me
like
just see where I've had, and I'll show you which is a good Oracle deck that you
guys,
hang on.
this is a very good tarot deck, guys, this one.
Oh god, it's brilliant. This Oracle deck surprised me actually.
Oh, the medicine woman, yeah, it's really good.
Very, very good. I did myself a reading with that last week, and it blew my fucking mind. Yeah, it's brilliant. Absolutely.
Did you know that this first edition is now going for hundreds of dollars online?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I saw that. I'd
was
never
like,
get rid of mine.
No, same here. Like, I haven't been using it a lot because it is kind of intense sometimes. But it is and will always be like, this was the deck that made me go, oh, so you can do this with tarot as well.
And she's never been seen since.
No, but she took 11 years to create it. So yeah.
Maybe we'll see her again in another 11 then with an Oracle deck.
Yeah.
So, that about wraps everything up for
Yeah.
tonight.
Do you have anything else to say about vintage decks with lots of intention, or do you think we've mentioned it all?
I've got a lot to say, but I can't say it.
If you guys want to hear us say all those things, subscribe to our Patreon. Oh no, we don't do that dumb shit. Subscribe to our OnlyFans. Oh no, we don't do dumb shit like that either.
We do.
You
We
want
talk
to
about rosebuds on there.
exactly, and we might show ours as well. I know.
Of course.
No, if you want to know more, you guys know where to find us. And
You do, and thank you for everybody. Everybody obviously being here. We love you
yeah,
all.
this was fun.
It was fun, and I shall see you all around. Stay there, Levi. See you
I
later.
will.
Bye,
Love
guys.
y'all. Bye bye.